The chair recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your service to the country, Mr. Rosenstein. Based on the language in your special counsel order, or your order appointing the special counsel, does the special counsel have the authority to investigate any individual who may have obstructed the investigation that FBI Director Comey confirmed on March 20th of this year, which was the Russian interference with the 2016 elections?
The special counsel does have authority to investigate any obstruction related to his jurisdiction.
Does this authority to investigate possible obstruction include investigating President Trump?
I hope you won't take an inference one way or the other, Congressman, but as I've explained, that's simply something we do not do. We do not discuss who may or may not be under investigation.
Well, I'm not asking you whether or not the president is under investigation. I'm just simply asking whether or not your order appointing the special counsel authorizes the special counsel to investigate the president.
It authorizes him to investigate anybody who there's predication to believe obstructed justice.
And that includes the president, correct?
It'll include anybody who was suspected of obstructing justice.
All right. Do you think that it's appropriate for the president to comment publicly on any pending investigation?
Congressman, the decision about whether people in political positions comment on investigations is not mine. My responsibility is to ensure that our investigations are not impacted improperly by any opinion, whether it be a member of Congress or anybody else.
Well, it would not be appropriate for you to comment about any pending investigation. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And the president is the chief law enforcement officer, he considers himself, in the country. It would be inappropriate for him then to comment on a pending investigation, would it not?
Congressman, I believe over the years there have been presidents who have made comments about investigations, and it's simply not my responsibility to make that decision.
Well, do you think it's appropriate for the president to publicly call for the investigation of specific individuals?
I'm simply not going to comment on that, Congressman, other than to tell you it's my responsibility, along with the Attorney General, to make sure that those decisions are made independently by the department based upon the facts and the law.
Has the president ever contacted you to urge action in any pending investigation?
Congressman, I have not received any improper orders, and I'm not going to be talking about particular communications I may have which are appropriate communications with the White House.
Well, what would be your legal basis for refusing to answer the question whether or not the president has contacted you to urge any action in any pending investigation? What would be your legal basis for refusing to answer that question?
Congressman, this is not a partisan issue. I worked on an investigation where the previous president encouraged the department to do an expeditious investigation. And so, the question for me is, are we or are we not appropriately making an independent determination, regardless of who comments on it?
Well, my question, I respect your question, but my question is, has the president ever contacted you to urge action in any pending investigation? Yes or no?
I have nothing further to say about it, Congressman.
So you're going to refuse to answer a question from a member of Congress seeking to do oversight?
Now, I've told you, Congressman, that I have not received any improper orders, and I'm simply not going to talk about communications. I think in every administration, senior law enforcement officers have to be able to communicate with the president and his officials about appropriate matters within their responsibility and not comment on it. So you shouldn't draw any inference. It's simply not appropriate for me to talk about communications I may have with the administration.
So it would
I would tell you if something happened that was wrong, if somebody ordered me to do something that was improper, but that has not happened.
Well, it would be improper for the president to ever contact you about initiating an investigation of someone, would it not?
We've discussed this previously, Congressman. Presidents have commented publicly, and
No. My question is, it would be improper for a president to contact you about initiating a investigation of someone. It would be improper, wouldn't it?
It would be improper for the president to order me to conduct an investigation that wasn't justified based on the facts.
It would be improper for the president to ask you to initiate an investigation, would it not?
If it were for improper reasons, yes.
And so is it your testimony today that the president has not asked you to investigate someone specifically?
Congressman, I understand what you're getting at, but as I said, I was in the last administration, and the president of the last administration commented on matters, and there's nothing wrong about
You're
that.
being very artful in
No, I'm not.
jumping around and evading answering my question, and so you're not going to answer it. And
I'm not evading.
That's unfortunate. Are you afraid of President Trump firing you?
No, I'm not, Congressman.